Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. The Madras High Court has pulled up DMK Minister Udhayanidhi Stalin, party MP A. Raja and another DMK leader over their comments about eradicating Sanatan Dharma. Notably, last year, DMK leaders Udhayanidhi Stalin and A. Raja stirred controversy by making comments on Sanatan Dharma and saying that it should be eradicated. The High Court has today observed that Stalin's and other leaders' remarks were wrong, but also noted that they had not been convicted by any court yet and dismissed the petition that challenged the continuation of them as legislators or in constitutional posts. The High Court in its order said that equating Sanatan Dharma to HIV, malaria and dengue is against constitutional principles and amounts to spreading misinformation. But what is shocking is that the DMK appears unfazed and is rather looking at the court order as a victory. Listen in.
Today we have won the case because that prayer has been rejected. One has to see how far the observations is going to help the prayer. So the prayer, they have asked for a quo warranto. Court has said such prayer is not maintainable, cannot be granted. So today we have won the case.
And this Sanatan slander by ministers, of course, after it has been wrapped by the High Court, the BJP has now hit back at the DMK, saying the court order means that the party should act against the slanderers rather than seeing the court order as a victory. Now, this comes just a day after A. Raja's video surfaced wherein he was heard calling Jai Shri Ram Chi.
She has very clearly said that Sanatan Dharma, you cannot misquote or you cannot talk about Sanatan Dharma, which may lead to misinformation or unnecessary tension. She says that since no action has been taken as per the law, it does not qualify for disqualification of Udhayanidhi Stalin. That means that this government should have taken action against Udhayanidhi Stalin, which they have not taken. They falsely claim as if a big victory for them. It is not so.
எனக்கு ராமாயணத்துல நம்பிக்கை இல்ல, ராமன் மீது நம்பிக்கை இல்ல. ஆனால் கதையை சொல்றேன், இதுதான் கம்பராமாயணம். அப்ப நாலு பேரா அண்ணன் தம்பி பிறந்து ஒரு குறவரை, ஒரு வேட்டுவரை இன்னொரு சகோதரனாக, ஒரு குரங்கை இன்னொரு சகோதரனாக, இன்னொரு குரங்கை ஆறாவது சகோதரனாக ஏற்றுக்கொண்ட ராமாயணத்துக்கு பேர் தான் மனித நல்லிணக்கம் என்று சொன்னால் நீ சொல்ற ஜெய் ஸ்ரீராம் சி idiot.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's take this across to our guest. Joining us, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari is advocate of the Supreme Court. Joining us also is Vivek Srivastava, political analyst. But I want to go first and foremost to Harish Mohammed Ibrahim, who's a political analyst joining us from Chennai. He, of course, leans towards the DMK. And yesterday, when we were having a debate, we spoke about the recent comments that were made by the Supreme Court. Now we're looking at what the Madras High Court has said. Such divisive comments should not have been made by someone holding a constitutional post. In equating Sanatan Dharma to HIV, malaria and dengue, Udhayanidhi Stalin acted against constitutional principles, spread misinformation. By what stretch of imagination is this a victory in the court, sir, as your Member of Parliament, Mr. Wilson, is stating? Mr. Ibrahim.
Yeah, of course it is a victory because it directly drives the Dravidian ideology, is a supreme ideology which has to be taken out to entire India.
Spreading misinformation is what they have said.
Which has been laid down.
Sir, they are saying it is spreading misinformation. That is the court's observation. How can that be holding up of any ideology?
If you can allow me to... This is the problem. You will ask a query and you won't let me finish it.
No, because your response is directly contradictory. I'm not getting the logic. How is it upholding any ideology? They are saying this is misinformation.
You will get the logic.
It's against constitutional principles.
If you don't have any if you don't have any pre-notion towards the Dravidian ideology, then you can get the facts right. And only thing is, do you agree with the Bilkis Banu, whoever the rape, who have been garlanded by saying Jai Shri Ram? Do you agree with that?
Of course not.
Do you agree with that? Tell me.
Sir, of course not. We have criticized it.
Not.
We have certainly said that is wrong. But what is being, but that has nothing to do with spreading hate about a religion.
The same thing was communicated.
It is a tantamount to hate speech. Is what is
yesterday.
The allegation against these leaders is they are spreading hate.
The same thing was. Give me a second. Let me finish. Give me a second. The same thing was communicated by our leader Raja and his public speech. The same thing was communicated. If someone who is going and saying something against the law by chanting Jai Shri Ram, then we don't accept that. Because if the same thing has happened in any other religion, we don't accept that. Because divisive nature by any means with caste, creed and religion, it is not accepted by the Dravidian ideology. That is what he meant, and which is being quoted out of proportion by, as usual, the BJP trend to do that because they don't want to address the real issues which the Indian people has been, common man has been facing on a day-to-day life. They don't want to deal with that.
Okay, so the BJP. I'm going to come, Sanju Verma, just hold on. I've seen you. I'm going to come to you, but I want to, as a legal case, bring in Ishkaran Bhandari because he's a lawyer. Ishkaran Bhandari, there have been several sort of intellectual gymnastics that we've been seeing, but today, when the court order has specifically said that these comments are wrong, you are seeing the DMK say this is a victory because the plea was not accepted by the court. The observations just don't seem to matter.
Madhav, let me read from a news legal website how they are quoting the court proceedings. The court added that Minister Udhayanidhi Stalin's statements equating Sanatan Dharam to HIV, AIDS, malaria, etc. were perverse and against the constitutional mandate. Just think, somebody is equating Sanatan Dharam with these dreaded diseases, and then you understand how tolerant India is, how peaceful India is, that you feel as a minister you can make these statements, and the court, it's a legal proceeding, the court deprecates these statements. There is a Supreme Court matter pending also on this. But the remedy, the relief the petitioners were seeking in this case were not viable, because even if somebody has given a most extreme hate speech, and to my mind and to legally also, I can't think of a hate speech worse than this. Even if you have done this, courts do not have the power to remove a minister for hate speech without conviction. That is basic law. The Supreme High Court has only upheld the law that unless you get convicted for a hate speech, and it is for 2 years or more, then yes, you can be removed. And that process, that trial is pending. So maybe the petitioners, whosoever they were, well-intentioned or not, were not in line with the law. That is the only thing. But the statements stand, the cases on the statement stand. There has been no relief on that. Please understand what's happened in the court. And the court is saying, you can't equate this with Sanatan Dharam. You can't make such divisive statements. You can't make such hate speech. So please, let us be not misquoting what has happened in the court. It was a legal relief which was not possible, which hasn't happened, which may yet happen if they get convicted for these hate speeches. So hold your horses. But the larger question, Madhav, that is important beyond the law. The larger question is that in India, you are equating Sanatan Dharam with all this language, and you feel no shame, no repentance, and people come on TVs and defend it. That, I think, is the tragedy of Bharat.
Okay, I want Harish to respond to that, because Harish, you can say the Supreme Court is wrong. Now you will say the High Court is also wrong. Forget the BJP and the politics of it. At the end of the day, these comments are not just in poor taste, but they are also insulting of the religion, and that seems to be pretty much what both the Supreme Court and the High Court have upheld, and these are constitutional courts. They set the law of the land.
Sir, you don't put your aspersions in my mouth, and number one. And number two, I want to make sure if
So the courts are correct?
Saying Allahu Akbar and cut someone's, stilting someone's... No, saying Allahu Akbar and stilting someone's throat is not whether it is right or wrong as per you. The same thing was happening whether by doing a mob lynching, they were chanting Jai Shri Ram. Whether you are accepting that fact? No, right?
No, nobody in their right mind will justify any act of violence, whether in the name of religion or not. I'm saying so unequivocally. Will you unequivocally say that the courts have said the correct thing today?
The same thing was
Will you say unequivocally, sir? So you wanted a reaction from me. I am saying unequivocally, all acts of violence are wrong, whether in the name of religion or not. Will you unequivocally say that what the courts have said today is right or wrong?
Same thing.
No, tell us whether they are right or wrong.
The same thing was the leader.
No, say yes or no, sir. Say yes or no. Give a clear response. Don't prevaricate. Don't prevaricate. Say that the courts are right or the courts are wrong today.
It is a clear response. It is a clear response I am giving you. If you don't want to buy that response, then I can't do it. I can't help it out. Right?
You're saying neither yes nor no.
No, I'm strictly saying that whatever our leader A. Raja spoke and whatever our leader Udhayanidhi Stalin spoke, which is par excellent, and they want to uphold the social justice movement, they want to treat people in equality, they don't want to accept any kind of violence by inciting any kind of slogans, whether it is Hindu religion, whether it is Islamic religion, whether it is Christianity. We don't want any kind of communal disharmony prevails in Tamil Nadu. We don't allow that. And people of Tamil Nadu know how to deal politics and how to deal religions. And the BJP, whoever want to do this shit.
Okay,
games,
once again the name of BJP
Nadu,
coming in, Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, this kind of communal politics is practiced by the BJP. The DMK does not practice it. Please respond to Mr. Ibrahim.
You know, Madhav, on a lighter note, Ishkaran used a phrase which I normally use, though I don't have a patent for it. Please hold your horses. And I'm going to borrow a phrase from Madhav. You know, intellectual gymnastics. I think the DMK is indulging in intellectual gymnastics, political gymnastics, and immoral gymnastics. I will read out ad verbatim for the benefit of your Times Now viewers, because I'm sure I'm not going to be able to convince Mr. Ibrahim, and I don't wish to. Justice Anita Sumant, in her written judgment, said this. Now listen very carefully. The statements equating Sanatana Dharma to HIV, AIDS, dengue and malaria, which need to be eradicated, are perverse, divisive and contrary to constitutional principles and ideas, and tantamount to gross disinformation. So clearly, Udhayanidhi Stalin, P. Sekhara Babu, a senior leader of the DMK, they have been castigated in no uncertain terms that their comments against Sanatana Dharma were perverse, unconstitutional and divisive. That is my point number one. My point number two, she simply said that she does not want to remove elected leaders and people who are holding responsible positions of power as ministers because the investigation pertaining to the FIRs is still pending. At the same time, she very categorically said that people who enjoy positions of power, in a clear reference to Udhayanidhi Stalin and P. Sekhara Babu, their statements need to be measured, their statements need to be mature, and their criticism needs to be constructive, not destructive. So let me repeat, Anita Sumant has castigated the DMK government clearly, fairly and squarely. And if you are sitting here and saying that Jai Shri Ram is a slogan which has been weaponized in 20 seconds, Madhav, this is what the United Nations Human Rights Council report of 2022-23 said. It said 9 out of 10 terror organizations in the world have a radical Islamist DNA, be it ISIS, be it Boko Haram, be it Jamaat-ud-Dawa, be it Jaish-e-Mohammed, so on and so forth. So please don't sit here and try and lecture the BJP, because clearly it is the DMK, it is Udhayanidhi Stalin who's in the dockyard today and needs a lot of explaining to be done.
No, I will just say this much. I will just say this much before bringing Vivek Srivastava. Any comment or any hate speech against any religion is wrong. It's against the law of the land, and that's why this is a debate. If those who believe in constitutionalism, and I'm very glad that the court talks about this, that those in constitutional positions should propound only one principle, Vivek Srivastava, and that is constitutionalism. This is what the High Court has said.
Absolutely. I mean, I do agree with what you're saying, Madhav. But then, however, you have to understand the spirit and the background of the people in the party who are speaking. BJP is a party which is against Dravids. BJP is a party which is against the Dravidian ideology, the Dravidian theology. and they do not believe that anything wrong ever happened to the Dravid people over centuries by the upper castes. They don't want to acknowledge it. BJP is a party which is anti-reservation. BJP is a party which wants to hand back the temples which were taken away from the priests who were eating away the money back into their hands from the government. So we know what the BJP stands for and why the rhetoric is over there. I do not support any hate speech. I do not support any religion, bad words being used against any religion. However, you have to understand, if a particular religion has been used to subjugate a big section of people, then people like Periyar, people like Ambedkar, and parties like DMK have to stand for those people. And then when they stand, people get irritated and try to make statements.
Simple point.
Jai Shri Ram or Allahu Akbar.
Simple question. May I ask you a simple question as a layman? May I ask you a simple question as a layman?
Yes.
Why are social justice, and how does that? How does any social justice movement allow for insulting of any religion? Simple question, sir. There is no doubt that social justice is a laudable initiative or an effort or a thought. But why should one insult any religion in the process? Is it not possible to do so?
Look, it is wrong. It is wrong to use bad words against any religion, including the Hindu religion or the Sanatan Dharma. I am not supporting it. However, we also have to acknowledge it that in this particular religion, for centuries, the Dalits, the Dravids, the OBCs, the backwards, they were subjugated. They were tortured. They were humiliated. They were not allowed to enter temples. Forget about being pujaris. So when you do this for centuries to people, people have some resentment and bitterness does come out.
No, talk about social justice, talk about empowering people. Talk about empowering the historically disadvantaged. No one has any problem with that. The problem comes when entire religions start being abused. But Sanju Verma wants to respond to you. Sanju Verma, they are only talking about the historically disadvantaged communities, say Vivek Srivastava. Please respond to him.
Madhav, I'm not going to go into the hackneyed argument that 60 million, as in 6 crore people, died in the Gulag terror camps and as a result of the Bolshevik revolution, which the communists take pride in. I'll stick to hard facts and not digress from the issue. What is the basic argument that Udhayanidhi Stalin, or for that matter Priyanka Khadge Madhav, that they have used repeatedly? They say we are not against Sanatan Dharma. We are not against Hinduism. What we are against is the caste hierarchy within Hinduism. So my simple question to Udhayanidhi Stalin is, forget about the fact that he compared Sanatan Dharma to dengue, malaria, corona, what have you. I want to ask him one thing. When you go to that part of Tamil Nadu, which shares a border with Telangana, you ask for votes in the names of Naikars, Rajus and Reddys. When you go to that part of Tamil Nadu, which shares a border with Andhra Pradesh, you ask for votes in the name of Vokaliggas and Naidus. When you go to the Delta region, eastern coast of Tamil Nadu, you ask for votes in the name of Kallar community or the Mannargudi clan, which Jayalalitha and Sasikala belong to. When you go to Salem and
Jayalalitha doesn't belong to that. Fact correction. She's a Mysore Brahmin. I know that for a fact. So yeah, Shashikala, perhaps you're right.
When you go to the western part, when you go to the western part of Tamil Nadu, when you go to places like East Madurai, when you go to places like Salem, you ask
what is the point you're trying to make?
1 year, which form.
Okay, Sanju Verma, what is the point he's asking you? What is the point that you're making?
My point is this.
What does he want to say?
I'm answering that. Wait for 30 seconds, Vivek Srivastava. My point is simply this, Madhav. If you do not believe in the caste hierarchy, why do you go to rural Chennai? And when I say you, I mean the DMK. Why do you go to rural Chennai and Vellore, which have a sizable Dalit population? You invoke voters in the name of Dalit wellbeing. When you go to Western Tamil Nadu, you ask for votes in the name of one.
Since the question is for the DMK, let Harish Ibrahim respond to that. Harish Ibrahim, you talk about a casteless society or how oppression has happened historically, but caste politics is practiced by the DMK is the accusation coming from BJP spokesperson. Please respond to her.
What is wrong with that?
Isn't it perpetuating the same caste? Isn't it perpetuating the same caste?
Ideology stands for.
When you go to
we don't accept this. You understand that?
Votes in the name of 1 year when you go to East Madurai. When you ask for votes in the name of Thavers in Thirunelveli, is that not playing to the gallery? When you go to Eastern Tamil Nadu and ask for votes in the name of the Kallar community, is that not playing to the the gallery. When you go to adjoining areas of Telangana which share a border with Tamil Nadu, why do you ask for votes in the name of Reddys, Naikas and Rajus?
Okay.
If you do not believe in the caste system.
Mr. Ibrahim, please respond to Sanju Verma.
That part of Tamil Nadu,
Mr. Ibrahim.
Which shares a border with Andhra Pradesh, why do you ask for votes in the names of Vokaligas and Naidus?
Okay.
If you don't believe in the caste
You made a point. I want Mr. Ibrahim to respond to that. Yeah, Mr. Ibrahim. Harish Mohammed Ibrahim, can you hear me? I think you've lost that line there. I want Vivek Srivastava to comment on that. Vivek Srivastava, on the one hand, you talk about social justice and about historically disadvantaged communities, which is perhaps something correct. But at the end of the day, if you're going to appeal in the name of caste when it comes to vote, and vote bank politics on the basis of caste is something that is practiced not just in Tamil Nadu, in many states across the country, aren't those in direct conflict? Then is a question coming from Sanju Verma. Please respond to her.
No, there is no conflict. There is no conflict because the party manifesto of the DMK and the allied parties and the common minimum program is very clear. We are free to approach any citizen of any religion, any caste, including the Brahmin community. But our constitution, our common minimum program, our agenda, our ideology remains the same. So we are appealing to everyone to support this ideology, where a Dravid is equal in status to a person who is perhaps of an upper caste. So that is how it is. So it is vague when you are saying, "Bhai, aap kyun ja rahe hain unke paas?" Arey, hamara desh hai. We will go to everyone. We don't discriminate. Please ask her, why does her party want to take the temples from the government of Tamil Nadu and hand it back to the Brahmin clan? Why does she want them to pocket all the money? Please ask Sanju Verma.
That's a question. That's a question, Sanju Verma. Please answer that. And also one point that has been made by opposition in context of this Sanatan debate. They say that what about those who indulge in hate speech against people of other religions, such as Mr. Ramesh Biduri, Sadhvi Pragya and others. Time and again, Abba Jan is a comment that has been made by BJP leaders. What about those comments?
Madhav, I'm so glad you asked me this question. Has Sadhvi Pragya been given a ticket for the upcoming Lok Sabha 2024? No. Has Ramesh Biduri been given a ticket for the upcoming Lok Sabha 2024? No. Please now keep quiet. I did not heckle you. Keep quiet. You have a bad habit of heckling.
No, why did you make them continue? If you had to punish them.
One by one. Okay, one by one. One by one. You can respond. Vivek, please. I have very little time left on this debate in any case.
From this irrelevant fellow.
Okay.
Thank you. Complete your point, Sanju Verma.
Bad habit of giving jam to everybody, but does not have the decency to listen to the other side.
Make your point. Make your point.
Has Ramesh Biduri been given a ticket in Lok Sabha 2024 upcoming elections? The answer is no. Has Sadhvi Pragya been given a ticket in the upcoming Lok Sabha 2024 elections? The answer is no. Has Pravesh Verma been given a ticket in upcoming Lok Sabha 2024? No. People said Kapil Mishra would be, given a ticket. Till now, has he been given a ticket from LS 2024 for the upcoming LS 2024 elections? The answer is no.
Okay.
Now, why they have been given a ticket, I don't want to get into the brass tacks of that. But my simple logic is this. BJP expelled, suspended a Nupur Sharma for quoting what is written in the Hadith for 6 years.
Okay. Let's not. I don't want to get into that. We are completely out of time. Sanju Verma, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you because I want to go across to the next debate. I'd like to thank Harish Mohammed Ibrahim and Vivek Srivastava for joining us on debate number 1. Completely out of time on this debate. Otherwise, would love to have had a much longer debate. Sanju Verma and Ishkaran continue with us for debate number 2.